Welcome to another video, the same every time, IGCSE Maths, GCSE Maths, looking at the kind of questions that apart from the numbers are the same every time. In this set of videos, we're looking at speed time graphs. So it's the kind of graph where we have time on the horizontal axis there. So there's time and we have speed on the vertical axis like that. The first thing that we need to do when we're dealing with a speed time graph is check that the units actually match up. So we have time on our horizontal axis measured with seconds, and the speed is meters per second. So seconds there is matching with seconds there. So the units of time are matching up, so nothing we need to do about that. Let's have a look at the question. So the diagram shows the speed time graph of the first 15 seconds of a car journey. Find the acceleration of the car during the first 5 seconds. And part B, find the distance traveled during the 15 seconds. So there are only really two things that they will ask us to do about speed time graphs. Thing number one is to find the acceleration. Thing number two is to find the distance traveled. So in this question then, find the acceleration of the car during the first 5 seconds. What we need to know is that acceleration is given by the gradient. So the acceleration, I'll write it down here. So acceleration on a speed time graph is given by the gradient. So there we go. Acceleration is given by the gradient. So they want the acceleration of the car during the first 5 seconds. So basically that's the gradient of the line during the first 5 seconds. Well, here's my line during the first 5 seconds. There it is. And remember how to do a gradient? We need to make this triangle thing here. Change in y, if you like, and change in x. Some people say rise over run. So my change in y, or my change on the speed axis, is 14, and my change on the x-axis, or my change on the time axis, is 5. So the gradient, rise over run, some people say, change in y, divide by change in x, 14 divide by 5 is going to give me my gradient. So 14 divided by 5 gives me 2.8 for my gradient. So the acceleration, 2.8. And the units are already given to us in the question there, 2.8 meters per second squared. And part B, the distance traveled during the 15 seconds. So that's the whole of the journey. The other fact that we need to know about speed time graphs is that the area under the graph, so the area under the graph is equal to the distance traveled. So the area under the graph equals the distance traveled. Now that is one reason why at the beginning we checked the units. Seconds in the meters per second, matching up with seconds on the time axis. That means that our distance is going to come out in meters. So meters per second for the speed, time is in seconds, so distance will come out in meters. So we need to work out the area under the graph. What most people do is just split it up into two shapes. So we have a triangle here. There's a triangle, didn't draw that too well, there we go. So we have a triangle shape just there, there's our triangle. And we also have change of color. Let's try this one. We have a rectangle shape just there. So we have a triangle and a rectangle. So all we have to do is work out the area of each of those shapes. So the triangle is going to be base times height divided by 2. Don't forget the divide by 2. The big mistake a lot of people make with this kind of question is forgetting the divide by 2. It's a triangle. So the base distance there, that's going to be 5, and the height of our triangle is 14. So the area of our triangle, 5 times 14, divide by 2. By the way, even if you go wrong on this kind of question, method marks will be available, and method marks in this kind of question depends on you showing that you know that you should be finding areas. So we don't want to see just a final answer with no working out. You need to give some kind of indication, like I'm giving here, that I know that I should be finding the areas. Now, the rectangle, the base of my rectangle there goes from 5 to 15. So from 5 to 15 is 10, and the height is still 14. So the area of my rectangle, 10 times 14. So the final answer is going to be the area of the triangle. So 5 times 14 divided by 2 plus 10 times 14, the area of the rectangle. Let's just do that one on the calculator. So 5 times 14 divided by 2 and plus 10 times 14. And that gives me 175 meters. I suppose it's worth checking that we have got the same units, because occasionally in these questions they might expect you to convert the units, but the answer is expecting us to write in meters, and if our speed is meters per second and our time is seconds, then our answer, the distance traveled, will come out in meters. So the two facts that we need to know: the acceleration is given by the gradient of a speed-time graph. The distance traveled is given by the area under a speed-time graph. Thank you very much for watching. I hope the video has been useful to you, and I will return with the next video.